Hello, brothers and sisters, and welcome to day 221 of the Chronological Read Through the Bible. Today's reading, or rather my commentary, comes from Jeremiah chapter 12, and I just want to look at a few verses here. Jeremiah chapter 12 is, again, another one of these passages that is so rich, we could spend an hour plus just breaking down chapter 12 alone. I just want to touch on a few verses. So looking at verse 1 to start with, righteous are you, O Lord, when I complain to you, yet I would plead my case before you. Why does the way of the wicked prosper? Why do all who are treacherous thrive? And yet this is a question that many people have. Many will say, why are the wicked prospering? Why are they benefiting when at times we as believers feel like there's all this calamity or treachery, or we have the same sicknesses as those in the world? But what do we do with it? What do we do with, first off, with what the Lord has blessed us with? We have so many blessings, but let me name the number one. Maybe you would say, well, God's not blessed me with anything. And you're saying this, though, from the perspective of you being a Christian. The greatest thing that He's blessed you with, blessed all of us with who are believers, is our salvation. That is the greatest blessing of all. There is nothing greater than your salvation. So that's one thing, and especially for those of us who are privileged to come to know Him at a young age. It's not only that we've been saved in our soul, we've been saved in our life. There are so many things that I never did of the world because I was saved. And just a little side note here, it was many years before I ever heard somebody stand up in church and give their testimony as an evangelist, and he gave the testimony of saying, I did not do all these things which others talk about having done, and then got saved. He said, I was saved as a child, and I didn't walk those paths. And he wasn't saying this and putting down the other people. He was saying this and saying, come to Him now. Don't wait. The sooner you come to the Lord, it's not just a soul being saved, it's a life being saved. And so oftentimes when we hear people tell their testimonies, we're hearing of this horrific life that they lived before. And I'm so thankful that the Lord saves people out of that. But I just want to encourage you. One, if you're a young person, I want to encourage you to get on the Lord's path now, today. And then I just want to also encourage you to get out and witness to young people. Pour your life out to lead young people to Him now. It's very critical. It's important. So Jeremiah continues writing, you plant them and they take root. They grow and produce fruit. You are neither in their mouth and far from their heart. But you, O Lord, know me. You see me and test my heart toward you. Pull them out like sheep from the slaughter and set them apart for the day of slaughter. You know, I just have to say that what he's really addressing here are these false prophets who stood among him, these false teachers who were there, people who stood in his path. I want you to think about this, and it may seem a bit of a stretch, but just a few points that I wanted to give here, because chapter 12 is a place that we begin to see some of this come to light a little bit. And that are some of the similarities between Jesus and Jeremiah. Though they're small, there are some similarities which are there. I want you to think about this. The first was a simple similarity in that they never married. They were both rejected by their own hometowns. They also ministered under the shadow of an oppressive government. Under Jeremiah, it of course was the Babylonians that were coming in, and under Jesus, it was the Romans. They both sort of were there at the time It was sometime after Jesus, but the destruction of the temple. Jeremiah would have seen the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem, and the Romans came along and destroyed the temple shortly after the resurrection and a time of turmoil in the land. Both were considered traitors by their own people. Jeremiah had the false prophets or false priests even preaching and speaking against him, while Jesus had the Pharisees and the Sadducees who were coming against him. Both emphasized true fellowship with God coming from the heart. And that's a part of that picture that we got there. Both Jeremiah and Jesus had a small following. They didn't have a large group of people who followed them. And both were arrested and prosecuted falsely. Just a few of the similarities. There's actually a number of others, but I just wanted to show that and let you see, they're both addressing this new, it's in Jeremiah 31:31 where he speaks of the new covenant, and Jesus, of course, is speaking of the new covenant, and that Jeremiah 31:31 is fulfilled in Acts chapter 2. So just wanted to give you that picture and let you see a little bit of more depth, some things that you can look for in the book of Jeremiah, and especially in chapter 12. Well, brothers and sisters, I hope you're having a good day. Sorry, I'm having to film this from a car, so it's a little dark right now, but I hope your day's going well. Until tomorrow, God bless.